When I started writing, I was 12. I started writing because I wanted to write for my mother. And I wanted to tell her how much I loved her, because I loved her very much. I didn't want to use the words that were used always around me, like I love you, and I felt like, no, there must be another way. But then I started writing and I realized that I was using the word love. I realized then, in a way, the limitations of language, and yet that is what we have. I don't really think about inspiration as this bolt of lightning. I think of it as something that is actually coaxed out of you, and also comes from outside and inside, and it's sort of like a collaboration. So it's not just me, and it's not just something rising in me and something brilliant comes out. I just think of it as you write, and sometimes you're lucky and you write what you want to write. I don't fret about it too much. If I can't write, or if something just looks horrible, I just do something else. I very often will read something, and then that will bring me great happiness too. Of course, it also makes me feel like I'll never be able to write, as well as so and so, but it's not something that disheartens me. It's just something that makes me happy in some way, that somebody can write so beautifully. I expect days to be difficult and days to be easy. I think that's just how it is. It seems that inspiration or wonder, or whatever name you might call it comes in many different ways. I walk a lot, and that time is a place of rest, but also a place where things come together in some way. Things begin, things end. I think it's a good place. I really enjoy looking at people, watching people, and I think you can learn so much. Like the bus is a great place for me, and the bus stations are just, I think, such wonderful places where you can really watch people, and you realize that every person has these brilliant stories, and every person's imagination is so different, and every person's use of language is so different. So I really like the bus. So maybe people are very inspiring. Yeah, when I look at my poems, I feel like they're still in progress in some way. At a certain time, I just think this is the best I can do, and I'll just rest here, and hopefully it's okay, and maybe it'll have another life, because people understand it differently, they read it differently, they read things perhaps that I haven't intended. So I think that's the beauty of it. I really like it when people have their own readings. And I don't have my own fixed meaning of a poem precisely for that reason. There are experiences and emotions that cross all kinds of barriers of place and language and culture. Even though the images are not the same, I think the emotions are the same. I just think it's delightful, actually, that a poem can exist in many different ways and have so many different meanings for different people. I like it that way. I should gather my own about me like loose change on holidays when streets take their drama elsewhere. In the world of the civilized, we are present on days we schedule for our hospitality. The ritual of belonging supposes conformity is a small sacrifice to a continuum of roles. Bones protrude in the wrong places, pimples on the back. Everything growing is of the undesired sort. What can I offer you, unhappy self? Sugar is the answer to doubts. If you have doubts, have sex, he advised, at a wedding ceremony. I remember a man in leather trousers kneeling to photograph wispy flowers. As I watched, I thought the words, "Man in leather trousers kneeled to photograph delicate flowers." I remember as I write.